Voter Behavior Project by London Dahl. Voting rights and how they evolved. In early America, the Constitution stated that white men owning land were the only ones allowed to vote. Later, the 15th Amendment was added, guaranteeing that any man had the right to vote. This means that any race, any status of man could vote in the United States. Women rise to demand rights. Women worked hard during the war when their men had to leave and go fight. When there was help needed, women stepped up to the job. This created women who aspired to dream big and seek careers and wanting jobs. This followed the will and the courage to seek the right to vote. Then, the 19th Amendment certified that women had the right to vote. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 ensured that no matter your color or sex, you will not be discriminated from the work, hiring, promotion, or firing processes. Then, finally, in the 60s, African Americans were considered equal to whites, finally and for all. No more discrimination between the two. The 5 standards in order to vote in the U.S. 1. Religious property ownership and tax payment qualifications eliminate. 15th Amendment to prevent denial to vote because of race. 19th Amendment to prevent denial of vote because of sex. Voting Rights Acts of 1965, racial equality. And finally, voter must be 18 years of age or older in order to vote. So what qualifications do you need to vote? You must be a United States citizen, live in the state borders for 30 days so that you can vote in that state. You must be registered also in that state in order to vote there, and to be 18 years or older and have your registration. What excludes you from voting? You cannot vote if you fall under these areas. If you are in a mental institution, if you are found mentally incompetent, if you are convicted of felony, if you are dishonorably released from our armed forces of the United States, and if you are homeless. Voting, poll tax. A tax-fitted amount per person and payable as a requirement for the right to vote. Literacy test. A test administered as a prediction for voting, often used to prevent African Americans from exercising their right to vote. Suffrage and civil rights. The 15th Amendment, ratified in 1870, it states that no citizen can be denied of suffrage based on their race, color, or previous condition of servitude. Instead of enfranchisement, African American men was not enforced for over 100 years. The Voting Rights Act of 1965 attacked the use of poll tax and literary tests, authorized the appointment of examiners in any state or country in which less than half of the electorate had been registered or had voted in the 1964 elections. In 1975, the law was extended to cover states and counties in which more than 5% of the adult population belonged to the following groups: Spanish heritage, Native Americans, Asian Americans, and Alaskan Americans. Civil Rights Act. Civil Rights Act of 1957. It set up the U.S. Civil Rights Commission and gave the Attorney General right to seek federal court orders and to prevent action that interfered with the voting rights of qualified citizens. Civil Rights Act of 1960 provided for the appointment of federal voting references. Their duty was to make sure that the qualified citizens were allowed to register and vote in federal elections. Civil Rights Act, 1964, forbade discriminacy literacy tests, revealed heavily on the use of judicial systems to overcome racial discrimination, and shortcoming became clear when Martin Luther King organized a voter registration drive in the city of Selma, Alabama. Efforts to register African American voters were met with violent opposition. Do's and don'ts for voting. Some reasons why Americans do not vote. They either don't believe their vote counts, they're just way too busy to vote, lines are too long, just the long process to get registered, registration requirements, they don't meet them, just do not want to engage in politics, and do not like the candidates. Suggestions to improve the voting process. My idea is to have voting locations for convenience for the people, to have more of them in bigger places to make it more speedy. Also, because of the technology that we have nowadays, it could be possible that we could vote online or on our cellular devices through a organized website that authorizes your requirements and your registration and proves that you are a citizen of the United States. If we could do something online and vote, I think the voting ratio of voters to non-voters, voting ratio would increase. And that is the end of my project.